But now that this has happened, I've really reevaluated that. I've seen people that needs help, and it's made me gun shy. I won't help anybody anymore. It's got me to that point. I'm afraid for my personal my freedom because of what has happened, and it was all because of a dementia. And unfortunately, you can't control that, you know.
We have Mr. Harris in the prosecutor's office. We're here today for status conference. It's my understanding Mr. Newman's going to be entering a plea of guilty to 1 count of trespass and a habitation. Is that accurately stated?
Yes, Your Honor.
We're going to enter a plea of guilty to 1 count of trespass and a habitation. It's 4th-degree felony, punishable by up to 18 months in prison and a $5,000 fine. If I did send you to prison, the maximum penalty also includes an optional period of post-release control, 2 years. Seems more likely, though, that I'm going to put you into my community control program. Mr. Harris, what are the facts?
Your Honor, if this matter had proceeded to trial, the state would show beyond a reasonable doubt, in addition to all allegations in the indictment, that on or about July 13th of 2025 in Turtle Creek Township, Warren County, Ohio, Terry Dale Newman trespassed into another's home while a person was present, this being the home of Judy Ponder, who is 84 years old.
Anything on those facts, Mr. Newberger?
No, nothing on the facts?
Mr. Newman, did you hear those facts?
Oh, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
Your Honor.
Do you admit that they are true?
Yes.
Do you understand the rights you're giving up by entering a plea?
Yes, sir.
What's your plea?
Guilty.
Based upon the plea of guilty, I'm going to find you guilty. I think that you've made a knowing, voluntary, and intelligent choice here today, only after you had been fully advised of your constitutional rights, which you waived and rejected here in open court. I'm not going to go into the matter of the sentence today. Instead, I am going to order level 2 pre-sentence investigation, and we'll see everybody back here in 8 weeks for sentencing. We also have an issue pending before the court on modification of Mr. Newman's bonds. And essentially, I understand that, Mr. Newberger, we want to remove the monitor.
Yes, permission to speak, Your Honor?
Sure.
Briefly. He works as an auto mechanic. He's been on the GPS monitor since, I think, the beginning of August. I became his attorney August 29th. He's had no violations. I have no reason to believe that he would violate. And his time on the monitor was extended because we originally, Mr. Harris and I, overlooked the age of the victim, excluding Mr. Newman from ILC. So during that period of ILC assessment, he was still on the monitor, nothing further.
Mr. Harris, anything from the state?
Your Honor, based on the facts of this case, there is a concern. Obviously, one of the factors is protecting the public, and I guess giving peace of mind to the victim in this case. We would ask that the monitor remain on until at least sentencing in this matter.
So, Mr. Newman, I have a report from Officer Small at Community Corrections that said that you tested positive for cocaine today.
That's what it said, yes.
That doesn't seem consistent with your history at all. I also see that you tested positive for THC. That does seem consistent with your history. But we're going to send this test out for confirmation, and I'm not going to make any decision on releasing you from the monitor until I get the confirmation back.
Understood.
So if it turns out that you did test positive for cocaine, that's going to be a factor. If it turns out that you didn't, then I'm inclined to release you from the monitor between now and the time that we come back. We don't have to get together again for that. Officer Small is going to let me know when we get the confirmation back, and I will let you guys know what comes of that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right, that's all. This is the case of the State of Ohio versus Terry Newman, case number 25CR42874. Present before the court is the defendant, represented by Mr. Newberger. We have Mr. Harris from the prosecutor's office, Officer Niemeyer from probation. We are here today for sentencing. Everybody had the opportunity to review the PSI.
Yes,
Yes, Your Honor.
Any reason not to go forward with sentence today?
No, Your Honor.
We have 15 days of jail time credit and no restitution. Is that right?
That's correct,
That's
Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Harris, on behalf of the
Your
state.
Honor, in review of the PSI, noted that he does have a history of alcohol and drug abuse. As we discussed in chambers, the facts of this case are concerning, and I'm not sure he has a understanding of the gravity of the situation that was created. My understanding is that these issues would be addressed somewhat through probation. I would ask that there be a no contact order with Judy Ponder, that he not be within any area of her residence at this time, in hopes that somehow he would understand this may be new territory as far as the court's concerned. I haven't seen a history of this type of behavior. However, it is very concerning for the state.
Officer Niemeyer?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. Newberger?
Mr. Newman understands the gravity of this situation. I think he'll be an ideal candidate for community control. He also understands that whatever assessment, drug and alcohol assessment he gets, he will comply. This is his first felony conviction, and he's just turned 59 years old. Has no prior history similar to what these allegations are, and he understands he can't go back to the neighborhood or see the victim in this case, that there'll be a stay away order. Oh, and he asks that the EMD be removed.
Mr. Newman, what do you want to tell me?
Honestly, it's just the strangest situation I've ever been in. For 8 months, I would stop by her house. One day, I've been seeing a girl now for like the past 3 years, and she lives over on 123 in Lebanon. And she goes out and she picks at night, and she sells decent stuff online. So hanging out with her, I kind of figured out what she wanted and what she didn't want. And one day I was driving down the road, and I seen a toy box at the end of the driveway, and I stopped in, and the lady came out, and we started talking. I asked her if she was getting rid of it. And long story short, after then, for about 8 months, I stopped by about once a month to see how she's doing. I brought in wood for her. I helped her mow her lawn. I've even vacuumed her house for her. Unfortunately, I did notice that when I was stopping by that she couldn't remember my name. So I figured, she was probably getting dementia and stuff like that. And the day that the incident happened, I actually was there before the incident supposedly happened. And I asked her, she asked me what I did for a living, and I told her I was a mechanic again. She asked me if I could check the fluids on her car. And I said I could, but I had something to do. It would be okay if I come back by. She said fine. I said, I'm getting ready to take off. She even asked me, hey, could you hang out for a few more minutes? You're so easy to get along with, so easy to talk to. I said, yeah, sure. So I hung out for a few more minutes. Her neighbor stopped by just before I left and dropped some food off to her. And when he was dropping that off, I was getting up and I was getting ready to leave anyway. So I left and I came back, checked the fluids on her car. I knocked on her door like I always do. She opened the door for me, asked her for her keys. I went out, I started checking the fluids on her car. She came out, and I had her keys laying on the battery underneath the hood. And she picked her keys up, and I told her everything that was going on. And when I was done, I shut the hood and I followed her back inside. And then her neighbor came over and threw me out of the house. And so I left. I had no arguments, nothing. I just left, no big deal. And then the next day I was pulled over and found out that I had the warrant out for my arrest, which I had no clue what was even going on whatsoever. So, it kind of threw me for a loop. I meant no harm whatsoever to her at all. I'm not that type of person. Never have been. I'll help anybody in an instant. But now that this has happened, I've really reevaluated that. I've seen people that needs help, and it's made me gun shy. I won't help anybody anymore. It's got me to that point. I haven't been in trouble with the law in forever, ever. And this just slammed me, and I was like, wow. So yeah, it's really made me gun shy about helping anybody anymore. I've seen people broke down on the side of the road. I would stop. I got a pair of coveralls, and tools in my van. If I see somebody broke down before this, I would stop and help them out. I don't do it anymore. I'm afraid for my personal freedom because of what has happened, and it was all because of a dementia. And unfortunately, you can't control that, But I'm not a bad person. I've made mistakes. I've owned up to my mistakes in life. I don't run from my responsibilities. I took care of my mom for 13 years, and nobody else in the family did. And then when she passed away, everybody took their share out of the house and left me in the cold. So I've been homeless for 3.5 years now, trying to get myself out of a $14,000 debt. I was halfway out, and then this hit me. Now I'm back down. I was $7,000 in the hole, and now I'm back to $14,000 again in the hole. But I got a good job. I've been working there for 3 years now. My boss loves me, and I just want to put this all behind me and get on with my life.
I think that, Mr. Newman, you and I can agree that this is a bizarre set of circumstances.
Yes.
And, I don't really know what to make of it, to be honest with you. But, I know that you pled guilty to the charge in the case, so For you to plead guilty and you expect me to treat you as if you're innocent is not really realistic on your part. Also, the folks in probation, somebody who maintains that they didn't do anything wrong is a bit of a mixed bag for them because, first of all, they want to make sure that this kind of stuff doesn't happen anymore and address those issues. So I don't really know where this is headed. But the other thing is, if you continue to be a law-abiding citizen, don't give me any problems, you're probably going to successfully complete your probation, so it may not matter either way. I'm going to place you into my community control program for a period of 3 years on basic supervision. I'm going to impose upon you the standard rules of supervision. Whatever the Talbert assessment says you got to do. I'm also going to have you complete the Court's Thinking for a Change program. You're going to have no contact whatsoever with Ms. Ponder or the residence in which this occurred. Stay away from it altogether. I'm going to remove you from electronic monitoring today, give you credit for the 15 days of jail that you have already done. I'm not going to impose a fine. I am going to impose the costs upon you. If you violate the terms of your supervision, Mr. Newman, or you leave the state without permission, I can sentence you to up to the maximum penalty in this case, which is 18 months in prison. Anything else we need to do? Anything I forgot?
Was there,
Appellate rights.
was there an order as far as for drug and alcohol outpatient?
Yeah, whatever the Talbert assessment is, that's what he needs to do.
Okay.
All right, finally, Mr. Newman, you do have the right to appeal this to the 12th District Court of Appeals in Middletown. If you don't have the funds to hire a lawyer to obtain a transcript or to pay the cost, they'll all be provided to you at no charge. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thanks, sir.